Yeah, so Yansing, there's a few myths about CI, about critical illness protection, right? Number one is my medical card already covers everything.
Your medical covers your expenses in the hospital. So if your everything means your expenses in the hospital, then yes, covers almost everything in the hospital. But what happens to your life when you are critically ill is that you need money to sustain your life. And that risk is not taken away using your medical card. You need critical illness coverage to give you cash to sustain your life. So that is what critical illness coverage is for.
What are the things, for examples, that will need cash that people didn't foresee?
Because you want to continue your daily life. And when you're really ill, you won't be able to work. I've got a client who, after getting cancer, basically just stay at home until the chemotherapy, radiotherapy treatment is over. And it took her around a year to complete 3 surgeries plus 1 chemotherapy and 1 radiotherapy session. So that 1 year, she has no income. And up until now, she's still not able to really work. So her income, her expenses for that period of time needs to be covered. If not, then people around her will need to sustain her life for her. So critical illness is for you to cover your expenses during this period of time.
Does it include like mortgages and car loan, personal loan?
It's supposed to.
How do people usually calculate that?
So when you calculate the critical illness coverage that you want, it's supposed to cover all your expenses, including your debts. So if you have problem calculating in exact your expenses, just cover your income. Because your income now is supposed to cover all your expenses. So by covering your income, you will have enough to cover your expenses.
So will you also help people calculate based on like minus the passive income that they have and all that? And that's why you recommend people to look for you for more customized and accurate estimation?
Yes and no, because first of all, we need to understand if the so-called passive income is passive income. Because a lot of industry, they will come and tell you, you join the industry and then you get passive income. But in fact, you need to put in certain effort to get that passive, so-called passive income. If that passive income is not a real passive income, you will still need to cover. But if it is passive income, meaning don't do anything, you still get the income, then yes, you do not need to cover that passive income part because you get the money anyways.
Another myth is critical illness is only for people in their 50s. What are your thoughts?
If you notice the trend of people falling sick, you will notice that younger people get critical illness nowadays. I have clients getting breast cancer in her 20s. My youngest client who got brain cancer is when he's 4 years old. So yes, after 40 years old, after 50 years old, the risk increases rapidly. But these people in their 50s also have a lot more savings. If you are young and you have, if not up to the level of 50 years old's risk, you also have risk and you do not have as much saving. You want your income to be covered so that when you're sick, you do not need to ask for money from other people.
If I'm sick, I'll just draw from ETF or sell shares. What are your thoughts about it?
If you have enough shares, which means you know after you sell your shares, you'll be enough to cover your living expenses, yes, but you also need to take into account that you do not know how the share performs when you're sick. It is a risk because when you're sick, if the market doesn't perform, number one, would you want to sell your shares then? Number two, if you sell your shares, it wouldn't be for a good value. You will suffer anyways. Withdrawing EPF is also another option, but that would decrease your retirement income. Would you want to decrease your retirement income for your life now?
Yeah, another right, it's like premium flow past 15% of my income.
You should always buy based on your capability. I would suggest you buy between 10 to 20% of your income and make sure you can afford your insurance premium. When you buy your insurance, the important thing is continue paying your insurance rather than buying the highest coverage, because you want your insurance premium to be sustainable so that when you're really sick, the insurance policy that you have is still going on and you can claim from the insurance policy. No point risking the contract from going lapse by paying too much.
How about for business owners, like their income also fluctuates sometimes, right? Is it still the recommended 10 to 20%?
That's why we need to do a personalized one. Then we would know, because some business owners, they take fixed income. Some business owners, they take director fee. It depends on how the business is structured. I need to talk to you in person to help you figure out the best amount.
There's another myth is CI claims hardly get paid. What are your thoughts?
Insurance is a contract. When you buy an insurance policy, it's actually a contract signed between you and the insurance company. If you fulfill the criteria to claim, there's no reason for the insurance company not to pay you. If they do not pay you, they are going against the contract and you may sue them. So until now, most critical illness are paid, and the ones that are not paid were brought to the court, and in a lot of instances, the policyholder wins the court case.
Are there any circumstances where people fail to claim? Like, was there anything wrong? That's why they couldn't claim it.
Number one, if you do not declare your health entirely when you buy the insurance policy. Number two is when there's a fraud. And number three, if insurance company, after investigation, they find out that that illness was probably already there before you buy that insurance policy. So that would stop the insurance company from paying out.
Business key person cover is just a nice to have. This is also a common misconception. What are your thoughts about it?
If you ask me, it is a must rather than a nice to have, because you are important to your company, or they are a key person in your company. And when they fall sick or you fall sick, you want to have money coming in so that you can get a replacement. So getting a replacement is a sum of money that you need to consider when you get a key man policy.
Group insurance from my company is plenty. I think it's also one of the reasons why people skip this. What are your thoughts?
So group insurance is from your company. According to labor law in Malaysia, your company only needs to continue employing you half a year after you stop working, right? So imagine if you're sick for more than 1 year, would your company still employ you? Number one. Number two, would your group insurance still claimable for you? And normally group insurance covers the medical fees. If your group insurance covers your critical illness, which means they pay a lump sum money to you, congratulations. But is that amount enough to sustain your life for 3 to 5 years? That is the question that you need to ask, and the amount that you need to check.
That's a good idea to have that check, right? Like whether it's medical or it's critical illness as well, right? Another misconception, CI payouts are taxable.
In Malaysia, critical illness payout is not taxable. So your income tax would not go to you and ask you to pay your personal income tax for the critical illness claim that you get. For company, it's different. But for now, I let you know that your personal income tax, you do not need to pay for the CI, the critical illness claim that you get.
Alternative supplements and overseas care are cheap add-ons.
When my client suffers from cancer, she took porcupine benzoate, and that cost her around 500 to 600 per day. Imagine how much that would climb up to for a year or even for a month. So the price of the supplement depends on what type of supplements that you want to take. So there are expensive ones in the market and there are more affordable ones. It depends on you. If you want the more affordable one or the more expensive one.
As well as the overseas treatment, right? Like for those who seek treatment overseas.
If you want to seek treatment overseas, it's on a pay and claim basis. Which means when you go overseas, when you leave Malaysia, you need to pay for your medical expenses first, then you take the receipt and you come back and claim. Like, the thing is you need to pay first, so you need to have cash for that. That's number one. Number two is when you come back to Malaysia and you claim, they pay you based on Malaysia rate, so you don't get all the money back. So you need money to pay first, and you need to be mindful that they won't pay you all the money back.
Some people have these thoughts, right? Like some business owner, if I'm gone, the business will fund my family. They will have thoughts like that.
So the question you need to ask yourself is the business self-running? Are you still contributing in the business? So if you're not contributing, the business is self-run, then probably what you say is true. But you are contributing in the business. When you stop contributing, it's only fair to assume that your business will have some problem, or at the very least, you will need to get someone to replace you. So that is costing. So it will be good for you to have a sum of money coming in for that cost.